Alright guys, now it's time to review Rocky Balboa, aka Rocky 6. Now before I start the review, I'm going to show you guys a little update of something that I've always wanted to show you all. I got this recently on eBay, and you know what it is? Bam! The Rocky 5 VHS box set of the 20th anniversary back in 1995, or 6. It has all 5 of the first 5 Rocky movies. Rocky 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 on VHS. I got this for 96 cents on eBay. Really nice, huh? So it has all pictures, has Rocky with the American flag. Yeah. And the reason why I wanted to show you all that, because obviously it's almost time for the 40th anniversary. You just had to wait till another year. Now, before we talk about the movie itself, let's just focus on some backstory. After the failure of Rocky 5, many people were doubting that there would be a Rocky 6, but then sooner or later, Sylvester Stallone would want to make a true ending by waiting a little while, because MGM didn't want to make another Rocky movie throughout the 90s. But then later on, at some point, whenever there was a new chairman of MGM, finally there became Rocky 6 that was co-produced by Columbia, MGM, and even Revolution Studios came involved as well. So, the slogan was, "It ain't over till it's over." So finally, Rocky 6 was made in 2006, which is 9 years ago. Can you believe that this movie's almost 10 years old already? I know. This took place 16 years after the 5th Rocky movie. And I think the real reason why it's called Rocky Balboa is because it wasn't a real successor to the 5th Rocky movie, because Rocky 5 was never mentioned. Now, since that this is supposed to be after Rocky 5 but not really happened immediately after Rocky 5, things have changed. The brain damage and the eye issue has never been mentioned, and Rocky's living a good life, but the only downfall to that is that Adrian's dead. That's right, Adrian died of some sort of cancer. I think some sort of, I don't know, some sort of cancer that women get. That's what Rocky said. It's woman cancer, he said, something for a woman. So, Adrian dies in this movie. It doesn't really explain how or when, but at some point I searched up that Adrian died back in 2002, and she died peacefully in her sleep. So yeah, and it shows a few montages of this one new champion named Mason Dixon, who's played by Antonio Tarver, and then they show Rocky all old. He's now in his late 50s, early 60s. He lives a great life, and he also owns a restaurant named after his wife, Adrian. Paulie's still in this movie, and he works back at the meat factory, the same meat locker from the first movie, and Duke also appears, but he doesn't appear until much later. Now, Rocky is old now. He doesn't have the same, speed and everything as he did before, but he's still a great heart. He still has a great heart. He still has, heart like he has usually, so... This is the Sony DVD. There was also a 20th Century Fox DVD of this, which was later on, and I got this at FYE, and there's Rocky punching Mason Dixon, and there's a picture of Rocky holding a weight. There's Paulie, and there's Rocky, and there's his son, Robert. Unlike the previous movies, Rocky's son, Rocky Jr., now goes by Robert, who's now a grown man, and he's not played by Sage this time. He's played by this one other guy. I don't remember his name, but I think his first name is Milo or Milo, I don't know. But his son is now a corporate businessman trying to show off the modern Philadelphia area, which makes sense because since that this takes place in 2006, everything's a little bit more modern. And Sylvester Stallone returned as director, surprise surprise, and Bill Conti still did the score for this movie. It was kind of disappointing they didn't play any of the previous songs from the previous movies. All it had was Gonna Fly Now and Conquest. And there were a couple renditions of Mickey, and there was a new song made for Little Marie. Believe it or not, Marie returns in this movie, but she's all grown up now, and she's played by a different actress this time. She's played by Geraldine Hughes, or I don't know. She's a lot different, and she has a son named Steps, short for Stevenson. So, what really made Rocky want to fight again was because of this one simulation fight between Rocky and the current champion, Mason Dixon. It turns out that Rocky wins. Rocky finally wants to get back in the ring. He just wants to train. They just have to realize that Rocky still has his passion in fighting, and he did, but he had to realize that it's going to be very hard for him because he's old. Everyone keeps on telling him that he's too old, so he did manage to tell all the people, including his son, to, that he needs to fight again in the ring, and he needs to have Paulie in his support. Another thing, that since that Adrian died, Rocky had to go back and show Paulie every single place that he's been to, like the skating rink that he used to go to with Adrian, the pet shop where Adrian worked at, and his apartment back in the first movie, and even the gym, even Mickey's gym. Mickey doesn't appear in this movie because Burgess Meredith died in 1997, like I said in my Rocky V review, but at least Mickey appears in flashbacks. It's pretty amazing that both Mickey and Adrian show up in flashbacks, but it does kind of suck that Apollo Creed wasn't in flashbacks. Yeah, he was mentioned a little bit briefly by Rocky when he told people at his restaurant about Apollo, but there weren't any photographs of him and Apollo. In fact, there was a deleted scene of him and Apollo in a photo, but Apollo's face was censored. There were several deleted scenes, like the alternative ending of Rocky winning by split decision, a part where Paulie cries, and another one was I don't know, him training and he was getting too old for sparring, There was a lot of deleted scenes, but it was still pretty nice. The fight scene was very cool, the final fight, and not to mention the training montage with Gonna Fly Now with a modern music that has a booming sound, has trumpets, everything is great. Rocky Balboa, or Rocky 6, is a great enjoyable movie for every Rocky movie. Yeah, it may be a rehash of the first movie. Some say it's a self-parody, some say it's weak and not as, dramatic or serious or anything like the first one, but it still holds up. And it has much better of a plot and has a lot more memorable scenes than Rocky 5. And I like this movie better than Rocky 5. This has to be one of my favorite movies, and there was a video game based off this movie on the PSP. Too bad there wasn't a DS version or any, console version, because Rocky Balboa on PSP ended up being the last Rocky video game ever made so far. I mean, I would love to see a new Rocky video game, like I said in my Rocky PS2 and GameCube review. So, Rocky Balboa is enjoyable, especially for each Rocky fan who's only seen the first 5 movies that I have right here. So, I really hope you all comment and subscribe and stay tuned for many new reviews, because this is the last movie that I'll ever review that has to do with Rocky Balboa and Spider-Man. So this concludes the entire Rocky and Spider-Man videos that I'll ever make. I will make some video game reviews of more Rocky video games and Spider-Man games, but I'm done with the movies. I know there'll be more Spider-Man movies, and Creed will be out soon, so I'll review those movies later on, much later on when time goes on. So once again, hit the subscribe button, stay tuned, and thank you so much for subscribing. I really hope you guys keep it up. I need more subscribers. I need to be so well talented. YouTube is my life, and I wouldn't be so well with my life if I wouldn't have joined YouTube. So thank you all. Hit the subscribe button and rock on. Peace out. And as Rocky would say, "Yo, Adrian, we did it." Because that's what he said at the very end of the movie. Rocky said, "Yo, Adrian, we did it," instead of "I did it." So, rock on, peace out, ciao.